all right.
Your Honor, before you is Brian T. Parrott on indictment number 2020 GS 45-209. He's charged with 2 counts of attempted murder, 1 count of possession of weapons during a violent crime, and 1 count of malicious injury to personal property in relation to that indictment. Here today for the state's motion as a vote in bond. Your Honor, we filed a written notice on June the 21st as required by the statute serving upon the defense. Just letting them know that we believe violates the terms and conditions of the bond set forward by Judge Newman. I'd like to record a bit of procedural history so we can update on what the conditions for the bond were and how it got where we are.
Let me stop you just a minute. You said 2 counts of attempted murder, possession of a weapon during a violent crime. Did you say malicious injury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
And so his original bond was put in place by young Colonel Rivet. He said the defendant was to remain in the state, to be released on personal recognizance bond of $15,000, prohibited from contacting the victim, and generally not participate in criminal activity, and be on house arrest at 239 Ray Road in Illinois, South Carolina. We were discovered sometime after that bond was put into place that he was not even in the state of South Carolina. He had left the state after committing several, or being charged with several drug crimes in Georgia. We filed a motion to revoke the bond. At that time, we had a hearing before Judge Newman. The last time he was here, which I believe was about a month ago. At that hearing, it was established that he was at a place in Knoxville, Tennessee called Soul Savages. It's a rehab facility. Judge Newman ruled that the defendant should remain at Soul Savages. He should notify the solicitor's office immediately if he was left, and basically be there until the case is called. It was brought to our attention by Soul Savages that he left, not in a full address, didn't know where he was, so we filed a motion today.
Mr. Barr?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, before you is Mr. Brian Parrott, and Your Honor, he's been battling a severe issue with substance abuse, which is part of the reason that he was at Soul Savage Ministry getting medical treatment.
This Soul Salvage, S-A-L-V-A-G-E?
Savage, I'm sorry.
Okay.
He was getting treatment there. The solicitor is correct. We had a bond hearing with Judge Newman, and at that hearing, Judge Newman did stipulate that he could remain out of bond as long as he was at this treatment facility. Mr. Parrott and my conversation with him said due to financial reasons, he has a family, he had to interrupt his stay at the treatment facility and come back and find a job and begin working. He has been working that job ever since. I informed Mr. Parrott about the motion to revoke his bond. He has been in constant contact with me. I believe yesterday he might have called me about 5 or 6 times because he desperately wants to keep the bond in place because his only reason for leaving was to come back to South Carolina for job purposes. One of the charges that he has, I believe it's in another county, he was found in his car. He was passed out. Basically, his grandmother or mother believed that he had overdosed, and so she called the cops or the police. And when the police got there, they found him passed out in the car, and then there was a weapon in the car. He is not a danger to the community. He has a family, he has a job. He's not a flight risk. We do submit that he did not follow the per se rule of notifying the solicitor's office that he was returning from the Soul Savage Ministry drug treatment program, but he did get in contact with us very shortly thereafter. And I had conversations with Solicitor Anderson, and as I said before, I have been in contact with Mr. Perry, and he's trying to put the pieces back together, but there's truly a financial reason why he had to come back and enroll his treatment.
There's just a lot of problems with what you're telling me. I mean, first of all, it wasn't up to him to decide. That Judge Newman's order says you will remain in rehab, period. So, I mean, it wasn't up to him to decide whether or not he wanted to leave rehab. I understand financial considerations, but the other thing that's going to really put a damp in your financial position is sitting in jail or getting rearrested or overdosing on drugs. That's going to put a real crimp in your ability to support your family. Sounds to me like this is kind of a life and death situation here. Your life. Tell me about the original charges. Tell me about the new charges in Georgetown.
Yes, Your Honor. On 8/9/2020, Officer Grayson responded to Alton County to a call that Chase Hicks has been shot in the leg. I apologize, I don't have that exact address in front of me, Your Honor. It is in Williamsburg County. They spoke to Chase Hicks' mother. He was actually been taken away by emergency responders. She said that a man named Brian Parrott had come to the residence and spoken to her and her son. He asked to borrow a piece of farming equipment called a sprayer. They knew Mr. Parrott to be involved in the drug trade, didn't trust him to borrow their farm equipment. They went inside and heard about that. When he came outside, back outside, he was already trying to load the sprayer into his vehicle. An altercation, words were exchanged from Mr. Parrott, the victim in this case, Mr. Hicks. Mr. Parrott shot Mr. Hicks through the door of the car and hit him in the leg, and rapidly fired shots toward the general direction of his mother as well. There was 2 counts of attempted murder. He got his car in reverse and backed up rapidly and struck another vehicle, happened to be driving down the road, and that's the basis in which the original crime. Fled the scene that day. The Georgetown case, I don't have in this report. It sounds like what it described.
Can you tell me what charges are?
It just says possession of controlled substance. Schedule 1 to 5.
And any criminal history, Mr. Parrott?
Your Honor, he has a DD third and shoplifting in 2009.
How old is your client, Mr. Barr?
25, Your Honor.
Is he working somewhere?
Yes, Your Honor, he is.
Where is he working?
Services of the PD.
I'm sorry?
Services of the PD. The contractor's name is Brandon Owen. I guess the contract work.
Have you got some kind of pay stub or something that I can see that you're working?
I had the last contract or quote I actually give my client in Douglas Road in Hemingway. That's the last quote. Out resting my wallet.
The issue that I've got, Mr. Parrott, is looks to me like everybody was rolled out in the red carpet. These are very serious allegations for which you got a PR bond on the condition that you stay home under house arrest, that you not leave the state, that you not get in any more trouble. You basically violated every provision of that. You then got yet another chance with Judge Newman, recognizing that you're showing every indication of being in the throes of a drug addiction. So you're given another opportunity for us to try to address the condition. You walk away from that. I don't see a single reason not to deny your bond and just let you sit in jail. Sounds like you're a danger to yourself. Mr. Barr, anything else you want to tell me?
Yes, Your Honor, and Your Honor, I hear you loud and clear. And I had the same conversation with Mr. Perry, when I,
So we can't say we're gonna put him on house arrest, that hadn't worked. We can't say, well, we're gonna send him to drug rehab now, that's not gonna work. So what does that leave you with? Just now he says he really means it. And he's in the throes of drug addiction, that word means nothing.
Your Honor, we would agree that we would do some type of ankle monitoring. Mr. Perry, he did, the sign of good faith, Your Honor, he did show up today.
And I
He is
appreciate
in contact.
that, but again, unless, you can tell me something that I haven't heard before about ankle monitoring, it's only as good as whoever's monitoring it. I've had zero luck with folks actually being monitored on the ankle bracelet. Mr. Perry, I think you need to go to the detention center, sir.
Can I speak?
I really think that is the best thing for you. Sure, I'm glad to hear anything you want to tell me.
I wanted to say, I was battling drug addiction.
When you say you were battling it, what's changed now that you've overcome the
I am
struggle?
taking anger management and drug and alcohol at the Father's Place in Georgetown. I am in a church, it's called Crossover, church in Johnsonville. I'm working. I also have the drug and alcohol places, drug testing me. They're sending it over to the Georgetown courts. Also, my doctor's office, hotel, they're sending drug tests back over. I went to that place to go get some help. I didn't know that I could not leave the state when I left the jail. I didn't read the papers. I never spoke. I didn't know my attorney at the time. I never spoke to him.
Well, that was before you came in front of Judge Newman. You knew that at the time you went in front of Judge
I'm
Newman.
saying, when I left jail, I never knew the stipulations. And then when I went to the place and we gave me, I talked to him over the Zoom. He never told me it was court ordered or mandatory to stay there. They told me, I could stay up to 1 year, 2 years, however long I needed to. I told him, I was trying to get myself straight on my situation and everything before I returned back home. Like I said, never court ordered me there. I was hoping for a court order there. Ever since I've been back home, I've been working nonstop with my son and my wife, and I'm just, like you said, put the pieces back in place.
Except for the fact that they found just passed out in your car in Georgetown.
That's before I went to the place. That's before I even went to Knoxville, Tennessee, man.
Mr. Perry, I appreciate it, and, I certainly understand we got a lot of folks battling drug addiction, but this is the third strike. And honestly, I think at this point, probably the best thing for you to go to the detention center. So I'm revoking the bond.
Man, I have a son at school I have to pick up.
Mr. Perry, this ground has all been plowed before, sir.
I understand that.
I don't know why you think that the rules don't apply to you. The rules apply to you.
I do.
Just like they apply to everybody else.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm
But
a
they
reference
weren't-
bond, you don't need to take
It was never made clear that I could not leave that place. I was never registered.
Thank you, Mr. Perry. Can't tell me you didn't understand what the conditions of the bond.
So when will I get to, when do I get to see the judge or anything?
You can automatically, within a 6-month period, you can automatically come back for a bond hearing unless your case, of course, is disposed of before then. If there's some change in circumstance, it can be addressed, your conditions of bond can be addressed in the future.
Could
All right.
I tell my attorney something?
I'm sorry?
Could I speak with my attorney?
That's up to, I don't know what the procedure is here, if they've got some place where you can speak. I can speak on that.
Before you, Mr. Archie Blake. He is here on case number 2020-GS450071. And he is here before you. He's going to plead guilty to the offense of possession of cocaine. Your Honor, he is represented by Mr. Vernon Barr of the Williamsburg County Public Defender's Office. And the state has recommended a 3-year sentence suspended to time served and probation.
And has he been sworn yet? Sir.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Mr. Blake, I'm Judge Curtis. Sir, I understand that you're here today to plead guilty to possession of less than 1 gram of cocaine, first offense. This carries, is it up to 1 year? Austin? Mr. Barr?
First offense up to 3 years, Your Honor.
Is that your understanding, Mr. Blake? This offense carries 0 to 3 years. You'll edge out back for me, thank you. You got a chance to discuss your decision with your attorney? And are you satisfied with what Mr. Barr's done for you? You're not under the influence today of any drugs or alcohol. Anything to keep you from making a good decision today? Has anyone promised you anything to try to get you to plead guilty? Anybody forced you, threatened you, or coerced you in any way? You're waiving some constitutional rights when you enter this plea. You've got a constitutional right to remain silent. If your case went to trial, nobody could force you to testify. You chose not to testify, nobody can hold that against you. But when you plead guilty, you're waiving that constitutional right. You understand that? You have a constitutional right to a trial by jury, to let 12 citizens hear the evidence against you and let them decide whether you're guilty or not guilty. Of course, when you enter this plea, it means you're waiving your constitutional right to a jury trial. You understand that? If you had a trial, the state would bear the burden of proving you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. All 12 jurors would have to agree that you were guilty before you could be convicted. You waive those rights today. If you have a trial, you also get the chance to confront the witnesses for the state. They all testify about this witness stand in open court. Your attorney gets a chance to ask them questions on cross-examination. He can present a defense on your behalf. He can subpoena witnesses and compel those witnesses to come to court and testify in the case. But again, you waive those rights today when you enter this plea. This is a possession first offense. You understand if you were convicted of an additional drug offense after today's date, you would carry a higher fine, higher possible jail sentence. Every drug offense carries a more severe punishment than the one that came before it. You understand that? Knowing all the right, Mr. Blake, are you pleading guilty or not guilty? I'm going to hear the facts from the state and then I'll have a few more questions for you. Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, on January 23rd, 2020, Agent Scott with the Winsboro County Sheriff Office, along with a SLED agent, responded to Elliott Road, which is in the Andrews area of Winsboro County. Agent Scott identified 2 persons located in the vehicle. Those people were Archie Blake, who was the driver, and along with the passenger, Ms. Crystal Blake. Upon looking inside the vehicle, there was a plastic bag containing crack cocaine located next to the driver's seat in the console area. Archie stated then that he did not know who the crack belonged to. Upon looking further into the vehicle, there was an additional crack pipe located, and there was about $633 that were seized from Archie Blake. There was also a home located at the address on Elliott Road where they were parked at. Upon looking inside the home, officers were able to find a razor blade with some U.S. currency, and there was a cracked rock on top of a box of smokes. And also from there was seized about $8 in cash. The drugs were then sent off to Suffolk County for testing, and trace amounts of cocaine was found.
Are those facts true, Mr. Blake? Okay, I do find that there's a sufficient factual basis for me to accept your plea. I find that you're entering the plea today freely and voluntarily with the advice of Mr. Barr, a very competent attorney. You've got 10 days from today's date if you wanted to appeal the conviction. Mr. Barr, would that be you?
Yes, Your Honor. This is Mr. Archie Blake. We've discussed this pretty often. He was a fair offer from the state. Mr. Blake is a family man. He's been married 23 years, has 4 children. He's employed at Andrews Fabrication And he's desired, he wants to get this matter behind him. I do agree with the plea offer, and I do agree with his decision to plea.
He has served how many days, do you know?
1 day.
Have you ever been on probation before, Mr. Blake? Any criminal record?
Your Honor, in 2016, he had a driving under suspension. Again, in 2016, in December, a fraudulent check under $500 first offense. And in 2018, entering premises after warning.
Okay, I'm glad to go along with the recommendation of a sentence of 3 years provided upon the time that you served. The balance is suspended probation for 2 years. Check the box here to give you credit for the day that you served. I am requiring random drug and alcohol testing during the period of probation. All right, good luck to you, sir.
This is Christian News TY. I'm Tony Conyers. If there are any newsworthy events in Williamsburg County, we will get them to you as soon as possible. If not, you can follow us on Christian News TY Facebook, you can follow us on YouTube, and you can follow us on our website.
Christian News TY would like to thank you for watching. Please share.